These aren't our kids. Show him compassion. But it's not like he's doing this to the people of Idaho or Texas.
So I've heard a lot of people refer to the recent atrocities at the border as un-American. But if you have a brief glance through history, it shows how inherently false this statement is. Go ahead, look over this nation's past and you'll come to see a through line, a common theme, a horrific recurring narrative of similar atrocities that has been woven into the fabric of this great nation, showing that in fact these recent horrific acts separating immigrant children from their parents are not un-American, but actually right on par with traditional American practices. Or towards people of colour, that is. At this point, the race deflectors will flood in with their "why are you talking about slavery? Let history be history" comments, oblivious to the fact that what is going on right now outside of their bubble is the history future generations will refer to when looking back at this nation's horrors. So yes, I am going to talk about slavery. And no, it wasn't a choice. A time when Africans forced into slavery were routinely separated from their children, not only in being transported to the Americas, but then repeatedly at the auction block. Millions of mothers and fathers were forcefully separated from their children. For nearly 250 years, this was what it meant to be American. While white people lived freely in this great nation, they got to dictate which black families were to be separated. And this same treatment was reserved for Native Americans. Most notably after the 1890 Wounded Knee Massacre, when the army slaughtered 150 Lakota men, women, and children in the last chapter of America's long Indian Wars, authorities forced Native American families to send their children to government or church-run boarding schools where officials made Native American children cut their hair and outlawed all Native American languages. They forced children to adopt Christianity and attempted to Americanize children by introducing them to white customs and white history. These Native American children returned home almost unrecognizable to their parents. And these are just two notable examples of countless instances where children were taken from their parents in American history. So taking that into consideration, how is the current epidemic un-American? Because it is with this false portrayal of superiority and righteousness that prevents us from actually righting the wrongs of the past. We don't change the past by ignoring or glossing over the sins of history, but we can change the path forward by acknowledging the reality that right now, today, history is repeating itself. And if you choose to stand by idly and assume that this in fact is a new and horrible occurrence freshly brewed from the Trump administration, then you are naive or willfully blind to this country's short history. Trump is basically following the blueprint set before him and the many examples of people of color in this country being dehumanized and separated from loved ones. So here's my final note. It is one thing to be outraged at what's going on, but it's another to understand the history that has led to this moment and your role in helping to prevent it from continuing. Because while I'm outraged and disgusted, I realize that the likelihood of this happening to me or my kids in the future are slim to none. So it is my duty to ensure I lend my voice to the fight for those that it is happening to today. Follow me on Instagram at Francis M. Maxwell and on Twitter also at Francis M. Maxwell. Like and share the video. You can download the TYT app here. And as always, continue to resist.